We all have parts to play. And I want you to think about the part that you grew up with. Were you the worrier, the critic, the victim, or the perfectionist? So the worrier, that really promotes anxiety. This is usually one of the strongest super personalities in people who are prone to anxiety. The worrier creates anxiety by imagining the worst case scenario. It scares you with fantasies of disasters or catastrophes when you imagine confronting something you fear. It also aggravates panic by reacting to your first physical symptom of a panic attack. The worrier promotes your fear to what is happening is dangerous or embarrassing. In short, the worrier dominates your mind. It anticipates the worst. It overestimates the odds of something being bad. The worrier is always vigilant, watching with unease, apprehension for the small symptoms that something terrible is about to happen. Their favorite expression is, "What if?" Let's just think about this for a minute. A typical dialogue that a worrier might have is, "Oh no, my heart's starting to beat faster. My palms are sweating. But what if I have a panic and I lose complete control of myself? What if I'm stammering in the middle of my speech? What if they see me shaking?" These what-if statements take over the mind of the worrier. But maybe you might be the critic. This critic, they promote low self-esteem. The critic is the part of you that's consistently judging and evaluating your behavior. It tends to point out all of your flaws and limitations whenever possible. It jumps on any mistake that you make to remind you that you are a failure. The critic, they generate anxiety by putting you down for not being able to handle your panic attacks, for not being able to place yourself in a situation where you can be your best. It also likes to compare you to others, usually seeing them coming out favorably. It tends to ignore your positive qualities and emphasizes your weakness and inadequacies. The critic might be that voice of your mother or father or that dreaded teacher or anyone who's wounded you in the past. Their favorite expressions would be, "That was stupid. What a disappointment you are." The typical critic self-talk would be, "You're so stupid. You can't get anything right. Why are you always this way? You could have done better." See, the critic holds negative self-beliefs, such as, "I'm inferior to others and I'm not worth much. I'm weak. I should be stronger." Or inherently, "What is wrong with me?" And then you have the victim. The victim promotes depression. The victim is the part of you that feels helpless and hopeless. It generates anxiety by telling you that you're not making any progress, that your condition is incurable, and that the road is too long and too steep for you to make any real recovery. The victim also plays a major role in creating this depression. The victim believes that there's something inherently wrong with them. You are deprived, defected, unworthy. You are not enough. The victim always perceives unsurmountable obstacles between them and their goal. Their favorite expression will be, "I can't. I'll never be able to do that." The victim looks like this: "I'll never be able to do that, so what's the point of even trying? I feel physically drained today, so why bother doing anything? Maybe I could have done that 10 years ago, but now it's too late." You see, the victim holds such negative self-beliefs as, "I'm hopeless. I've had this problem too long, it will never go away. And I've tried everything. Nothing is ever going to work." And here's one that so many of us are: the perfectionist. See, the perfectionist promotes chronic stress and burnout. The perfectionist is closely related to the critic, but it's less putting you down, and it goads you to be better. It generates anxiety by constantly telling you that your efforts aren't good enough and that you should work harder. You should always have everything under control. You should be competent, should always be pleasing, always be X, Y, Z, whatever you want to put in this place. The perfectionist is the hard-driving part of you that wants to be the best and is intolerant of mistakes or setbacks. The perfectionist has a tendency to try to convince you that your self-worth is dependent on something outside of yourself, such as money and status, acceptance by others, being loved, or your ability to please, and how nice you are to others, regardless of what they do. The perfectionist isn't convinced by any notions of inherent self-worth, but instead pushes into a stress, exhaustion, and burnout, trying to pursue these goals. It's like ignoring all the warning signals from your body. The perfectionist says, "I should, I have to, I must." The perfectionist may even provide instruction as, "I should always be on top of things. I should always be considerate and unselfish. I should always be pleasant and nice. I have to get that job. I have to make this amount of money. If I don't make this amount of money, I'm not worthy." The most effective way to deal with negative self-talk is to counter it with positive, supportive statements. So right now, I want you to go ahead and get a piece of paper out. Pause the recording, get your pen and paper, because I want you to write down the negative self-talk that you do on a daily basis. Just start with 10. 10 things that you know you say every day to yourself. Now I want you to write positive statements that directly refute or invalidate your negative self-talk. Doing this will take some practice. If you choose to do this with hypnosis, you will gain the knowledge faster and make it a habit faster. But if you choose to do it without hypnosis, this needs to be a daily practice for 63 days. Finding your negative talk and then finding positive statements that directly refute and invalidate your negative talk. Sometimes countering comes naturally and easy. You're ready and willing to substitute positive, reasonable statements of truth for the ones that have been causing you anxiety and distress. You're more than ready to relinquish these negative mental habits that aren't serving you anymore. Now, if you have some negative self-talk that's just not that easy to switch over, find a positive statement to say, I want you to ask yourself these questions for those beliefs. What is the evidence for this? Is this always true? Has this been true in the past? And what are the odds of this really happening or truly being real? Are you looking at the whole picture? And what is the very worst possible thing that could happen? How bad can it really be? And what would you do if the worst did happen? So I'm going to teach you a simple mind trick. This trick is going to lie to your mind so that you can get the results that you want. What you're going to do is when you feel anxious and you start telling yourself that you have anxiety, instead I want you to say, I am feeling excited. This excites me. This causes me excitement because the same exact physiological symptoms happen in your body when you're excited as when you are anxious. The palms sweat, the heart rate goes up. You feel butterflies in your stomach. So switch the word to excitement. I'm excited to do this. This makes me excited. And as you lie to your mind about the situation, you're going to notice that your emotions, your mood will go in alignment with this excitement. You'll start to feel happier, joy, peace even can fall over you when you change from anxiety to excitement. Well, thank you so much for joining me and learning how you can use self-talk to calm your anxiety, to live the life that you want. And remember, you are enough, exactly how you are. And everything that you want is available to you. Please like, share, and comment. I look forward to the next time.